So AEW is like I don't know. I technically don't know at this point, bro. I just watched the full show technically because I had nothing else to do after all work aside is done, and I have to deal with watching 2 hour and 3 hour and another 2 hour tripe for 7 days a week. Give you guys a full review. That's technically how it always works. Oh, by the way, we have Dynamite. Oh god, Cody's probably gonna snipe me. Other than that, we had a full episode of Dynamite. Not much special. We do like 27 tag team matches. The only remarkable match we had was technically Riho versus Serena Deebs for the American bracket. I didn't even know if Riho was originally born in the United States. I, I I guess origin does not count, so she's technically a U.S. citizen. Other than that, uh, we open with Matt Hardy and Hangman Adam Page against two hybrid. Even though Matt Hardy's a heel, so why not just give him the babyface group? They have like no focus around what like Hangman's doing after getting screwed over by nearly everybody against the Elite, and then they keep cruising over storylines with the Dark Order that technically didn't even get resolved into a match involving the Dark Order. The Dark Order just comes around now associating babyface now. After technically doing the same thing except more sexual tension, you can cut that sexual tension with a knife. And that's how it feels. And the match was borderline sloppy. Other than Jack Evans and Angelico thinking to mop up the floor, the thing we had was like an assist for a 450 splash, but he went too far just so we can do the spot with a double clothesline. The match was just botching all over the place over from Jack Evans. Barely any selling going along, or less, or you know, who got legal. I swear to you, man, it's like they want to do tag team matches for the sake of tag team matches that make these impromptu, even though they have so many guys in the tag division. And yet most of these guys are like forgettable, and then you just forget that they went 10-0 on episodes of Dark when they lack screen time, and they have no storylines for these guys. The Acclaimed, Butcher and Blade, Jurassic Express, FTR. I forgot like frickin' Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela as a tag team, Lucha Bros, and no affiliated matches, no gimmick matches if you want to actually like expand your eyes or at least make what makes the tag division more special than anything else going around, because it's just indie midgets, it's just no selling, and just doing hybrid spots that are going to get you guys more risk of injury, not that interesting, and over the cream of it all, these guys are risking their lives for what? Never say the sake of pro wrestling. It is the gayest thing. Ultimate Muscle makes me care more than this. Ultimate Muscle is a freaking anime that's pro wrestling based, and they make me care more. So, what else? We had freaking the Riho and Serena Deeb match. That was okay. We had some decent technician in most of this. Good drops over the corner. Missile drop kicks. It's just, I still can't take over this because Riho been out for 11 months. And over that span, she's been in the crosshairs of Nyla Rose back then when Nyla Rose was the women's champion. And she was out for 11 months. And you suspected, like, I'm not always expecting this off a lot of guys, but, you know, you see a lot of dudes when coming out of injury in better shape. I mean, look at Roman Reigns as an example. Roman Reigns is out after health concerns over the outbreak of COVID, then coming back August of 2020. The guy looks more in shape. He doesn't need the vest anymore. Looks like $1,000,000. Riho keeps looking like a Japanese schoolgirl that possibly Excalibur and Kenny Omega fantasize while masturbating and cosplaying. Probably is something from a hentai. So that's technically all I got. The match was fine. Riho came up winning with her finishing maneuver. There was a cool rollout powerbomb. The match was fun. It felt professional. It felt like a decent professional match. I just wish you guys didn't have to do all these crossover attempts to actually legitimize something that, would actually take time to give you guys identities. Uh, we also had Orange Cassidy against Luther. Now, whoever asked for this match, you guys are possibly high, devaluing your mid-carders already, or can't make consistent storytelling to tell your damn life. Why is Luther wrestling Orange Cassidy over the last couple of weeks of, ruining a marriage, the constant jumps, or at least something like make segments? This is no need for Luther to have a reason to be on Dynamite. What's even the reason that he's on Dynamite other than being Chris Jericho's friend? He looks like Uncle Fester had freaking smallpox and freaking Down syndrome. I hate Luther, especially with his Uncle Fester gimmick that he technically doesn't have yet. I think he wrestles in CCW, and I see no interesting character of this guy. At least Orange Cassidy literally just sticks over his gimmick. The thing is that he's lazy. I can at least get over that, and fans can laugh at that at some semblance, except I'm just seeing this fat guy with a Fester gimmick with no character, no interesting mythos, and he's just there with his little midget mask friend that's coming out of Bandito's payroll. God damn, these jobbers, bro. The match was so garbage. Barely any semblance of completing a spot. Freaking Luther looked pregnant. It just ended with one simple Superman punch. That was it. That was the match. Want anything else? Take it up with blank. We just had Team Taz again, just making their coherent friends after Tony Giovanni trying to call up Sting to call out Team Taz. And I'm not even understanding the reason why they're even feuding with each other. Why is Team Taz, of all people, over the teases of working with Cody, Darby Allin, why does, the only reason is, he finds himself, he finds a young him and Darby Allin, that's it. So why does Team Taz have to get involved? If you want to, screw it. Just give Sting an authoritarian role or something. Something where you have a legitimate dude that obviously old school fans know that can take over the company, and they can do some stuff cohering over most of the time, like Team Taz, and you can build them over on the pay-per-view. That's basic enough. I don't really need to care about, this is a top tier faction. No way, Inner Circle's a top tier. Let them just feud it with the top tier faction, and just have this dumb street fight. So they recapped over Team Taz dragging Darby Allin over in a body bag. Sting takes at least 2 months finally to actually get in combat with a faction, and then he gets powerbombed by Brian Cage after being outnumbered by Hook, Taz, and Brian Cage. Primarily Brian Cage. Hook was just holding the bat. That was technically the segment. I really lost a lot of focus, and you see that over majority of the time. You think I'd be more excited hearing about, oh my god, it's Sting feuding with this big buff dude. Taz is leading the faction, having some of these young guys up in his, why? It's just not interesting. Especially when there's not that much of a coherent story involved into this, other than Sting just wants to help Darby Allin. Darby Allin doesn't even have that much, chemistry with this dude, other than, we both wear face paint, we're both gloomy, and I forgot that I'm TNT champion. We also had a training vignette with, I think her name is Jade Cardra. Okay, she looks like an athletic specimen. She looks great. It's sad that they have to put this crap on Dynamite instead of your pay-per-view just a few weeks away. That's usually on Saturday, so I don't know why. Then they come around, instead of hitting the bags, training on MMA, taking jogs, doing basic combat training. Somehow playing basketball has something to do. I don't know what kind of Shaq Fu that Jade's gonna learn off Shaquille O'Neal for this type of crap. It's what is Shaq gonna do? He's 300 something, 7 foot. He's 7'2", 300 something pounds. That guy can literally just chuck away Cody Rhodes and his pregnant ass wife. And it's probably gonna be Red Velvet versus Cody. They have to like give a birth reveal that Cody's gonna be that it's gonna be a girl live on Dynamite. Then on their freaking YouTube channel that they have, BTE. Cody has, I think, his own YouTube channel. Brandy has her own YouTube channel. I understand they want to make this public reveal because of the platform that you're given, but I think anybody that doesn't even know how to connect that much over with Cody Rhodes and Brandy, other than you guys own the company, and that they want to technically make you the top rating babyface, even though you're not even the world champion. I'm supposed to care that you give over a birth reveal? Triple H and Stephanie isn't that stuck up. Yeah, we know that these guys were legit married, but at least I was supposedly supposed to hate them. I don't give a shit about Cody and Brandy. Congrats on the kid, though. Jesus. Joke. What a joke. What a waste of screen time. So we also had the World Tag Team titles that were on the line, even though Santana and Ortiz did not win the title opportunity after the Battle Royale. So whoever wins gets to face off against MJF and Chris Jericho at Revolution. We've also, before we headed to our title match, it went to Sammy Guevara not learning his lesson, not trying to get along with MJF, and obviously Sammy Guevara failed. So it ends with some semblance of, MJF now just being called over to shut up. And I guess he's trying to drive away Sammy Guevara because he was the only person who disagreed with him in the faction. I don't really... At least this carried over in the match. There was some semblance, because this at least took months of build. And Sammy Guevara obviously is coming back to do something with MJF. Jeez. So if you guys want also more information, Matt Hardy will face off against Hangman Adam Page because Revolution, in Revolution will be Matt Hardy versus Adam Page. The stipulation is that after the tag team match, when they go one-on-one, if Hangman Adam Page wins, he gets the first quarter shares of revenue off Matt Hardy. And I don't know what Matt Hardy gets. I guess they'll address it next week. I got bamboozled. And then Dark Order comes and assist. Somehow they're babyface now after literally being called the Dark Order. I think they'll be called the Real Order or some corny crap like that because AEW is consistent as making, coherent and, real-looking factions than, actually making a good show. But back on the present. We have, of course, our tag team title match. That wasn't that bad of a match. I thought it was a bit too spot heavy, especially the 1-on-2 spots sometimes. I thought they were selling over the headlock submission a bit too long, especially when it's dragging over. Especially, when you do that spot where you're supposedly in a tough looking hold, your tag team partner gets your tag team partner out the ring. You suspect, oh, thank God, they're finally gonna win. Just drop the tag team belts. It doesn't make you guys look strong. It doesn't make you guys look clever. It just makes you overly shoved down your throat. I hate the Young Bucks. Especially their overly predictable match type. It's just so garbage. Super kick. Counter over the super kick. I love Ortiz's selling. It ends. There was one counter with the BTE trigger. The Inner Circle got tossed out after too much talking with MJF. Getting Inner Circle caught up. Then a surprise roll up after it looked like Ortiz and Santana finally got it done. That was technically it. Match was alright. I thought it was getting overly dragged out over some of the spots, but alright match for Ortiz and Santana. Kind of sucks because at least Ortiz and Santana, they actually have a bit of character. They're a bit more interesting to watch. And unlike the Young Bucks, they can one of them can actually sell. So I didn't mind this match. Then we had, of course, Kenny Omega thinking that he's popular, like sexually harassing children, up sharing his book on the Young Bucks that obviously nobody except probably anybody that's an AEW fan has heard about, and it ends with some of the kids just saying, "Are the Young Bucks gay?" Yes, they are, Billy. Shut up before you get too right in this place. And then, oh god, that's it. They just talk about one thing, talking about friendship. Don Callis just comes out the bathroom without washing his dumbass hands, then acts, and Michael Knuckles are able to touch the children. And it, oh god, just they end up just beating him up. That's technically it. Kenny Omega's so goddamn bland. I guess he's supposedly neutral or supposedly heel. And I don't know if they're trying to treat him like $1,000,000 or anything else. And it's like whenever you're supposed to like know that your world champion is not going to be usually weekly on the show. Like, okay, you want to make him important. So don't make him show up every week on Dynamite. Just let him do some segments. Let him build himself over. And I get that Don Callis is supposed to be his managerial guy trying to get away from his real friends. I just don't care. There's barely any focus over for Kenny. If he wants to shave the head, change a look like a guy that actually is going to take himself more seriously, especially for fans that are just going to see this mop-wearing, stale, bland ramen noodles that were soaked up in the water for way too long, that it just looks like it expanded. I hate Kenny. Next up, we have Matt Sydal and Mike Sydal. Yes, I didn't even know Matt had a brother. Wow, that shows how much I really like David Bourne. Against FTR in a tag team match. Match was alright. Except they just kept, like, I keep hearing so much stuff over Jim Cornette that, okay, FTR is such a great tag team. There's a brain buster tap. They actually sail. They do the same moves as any other regular heavyweight indie crap. They're just the North, but they both look like Rick Steiner. I don't understand. It's just same moves. I think there was a slingshot German suplex, flying clothesline. The match just looked bland. Wheeler. Then it ended with FTR using their finishing move, the big rig, finally to get the win after like sloppy spots over the top rope. And it just comes up with a tease to cut off Mike's hair. I guess that's a callback to when they cut off Luchasaurus's horns. I guess. Then it showed Luchasaurus taking off his mask. It's like, okay, finally, I'm going to take this guy seriously. Hell, he can just have face paint on all I care. And no, he just comes back with a new mask. Yeah, that's how it is, man. It ends with the Jurassic Express just super kicking their way out of it. And then they're going to have a 6-man tag. Jurassic Express, Marco Stunt's involved as well. Against Tully Blanchard and FTR in a 6-man tag next week. So Tully Blanchard coming out of retirement. I wish I just sold over the fact over the legitimacy of Tully Blanchard and actually made his managerial cuts actually more impressive to make him be in this match. I would like to actually feel like FTR is more important because they're actually managed by a horseman. Yeah, they're not, and it's disappointing. I really don't care about the Jurassic Express. You guys can see over my past videos. We also saw like multiple segments, promos over Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston going over. They're literally the same thing. I know I can't get you with words, but we're just gonna beat you up and beat you anyway to get the point. Like that's pretty much it. They both know each other and they both want to kick each other's ass. That's technically how we just get into the match. Don't even know why the 6-man tag exists, other than just for another 6-man tag. Like we had 1, 2, 3, 4 tag team matches, and like one segment that was supposed to be an in-ring promo turned into an assault. In like 2 one-on-one matches, at least one was on a tournament, and one barely even had much of a story involving anything. Miro didn't even come out. there was a thing involving that. I guess they ruined their marriage. Nothing else. Nothing else happened. Miro didn't even came to attack him after ruining his time to be the best man. So that's technically it. We had our main event. Ray Phoenix, Lance Archer, and Jon Moxley. Shit! Against Eddie, I look like an Uncle Kingston, and the Butcher and Blade. Even though the Blade looks like he's that guy from Pulp Fiction that was in the basement, sexually assaulting the two guys, but the Butcher just looks like Dr. Robotnik. That's technically it. If you guys want anything else, Jake the Snake shaved? It wasn't as good as the main event as last week because they were all over the place. There was spots over the bed, the kitchen, cool spots over from the tables. These guys were trying to kick the shit out of each other. Now we just have another multi-man match just to understand that Moxley's just not that interesting in the ring. At least he's with a cooler guy. That's technically it. We have clothesline, big boots. Phoenix did that dumb twirl kick thing over the corner that I just feel is like, just be a Power Ranger, my dude. I think you'll do great as a stunt double, and I guess you get paid more than what you do on Dynamite anyway. It was just trying to isolate. There was big hot tag to tease Eddie Kingston against Jon Moxley, like anybody actually remembers that feud. I mean, it had a decent I Quit match, but I just don't care. They also had, I think, Dory Funk, Dory Funk in the crowd. They kept panning over to, and it came with chokeslam from Lance Archer on Ray Phoenix. Tossed him over to the Butcher and Blade, and it ends with a running senton. After a stunning backhand by Kingston, it was a paradigm shift. That's technically the match. That's the only spots I remember. It was a forgettable match. Didn't really boast my eyes than last week. There's not that much of a story being told, I guess, than just the playback of just random feuds that you remember from like months ago, but have no business because they only take like under a month to build. Like, that's technically my opinion on it. I'm really not that compelled over it. Then I just remember that Eddie Kingston and Moxley feuded when Moxley was world champion. That's about it. It ends with then the Good Brothers assaulting Moxley and everybody else. Kenny Omega just like, oh, you're a clever one, right, Moxley? Like, you get a rematch clause, but I picked the stipulation. I wish this took over much build because we didn't get much over to Kenny and Moxley feuding with each other. He came over selling a match that's going to be in a different Fed. He didn't even think over, oh, Kenny, you think you can get away screwing me? Well, I still have a rematch clause. Remember what I did? Like, it's not that hard. Like, this is the World Championship, and he comes around thinking that he's going to be a double champion over for some Jap jobber Fed with his little virgin blood belt. Serious. What the hell? And it comes up with it's going to be an exploding barbed wire death match. Oh, another hardcore schlock with a lack of a story. Like, that's technically, there hasn't even been, like, what's been Kenny Omega's, like, marquee matches he had with the world title since having it? Ray Phoenix and Joey Janela. Like, saying that you want people to lose their jobs is mean, but if I'm going to have excuses to see dumb matches like world championship matches to be involving jobbers that already have crap reputations, can't legit look like they can win in a real fight, like Ray Phoenix, and I am a manager at 7-Eleven, Joey Janela. I'm not taking Kenny Omega seriously, especially when he doesn't ask for more important competition, and he's supposed to be the bout machine, garbage, cleaner, jobber gimmick that's like a nickname with no reason to have a nickname. Like, come on, dude. I really don't understand. It's really crap. I hope at least that the match will be memorable in a semblance that will be entertaining and give me some moments that will be like, oh wow, instead of being like what it was back in their unsanctioned match back in Full Gear. So that's the reason why we're having Moxley and Kenny again. And people take it like you don't need like heels and face in wrestling. You do. You do. You need heels and faces. You need storylines. You need an authority figure. It just gets the order. Order works. It puts logic. It gives a reason. And I guess AEW doesn't know this because I'm forgetting that there's a reason why FTR is even feuding with Jurassic Express other than kidnapping Marco Stunt, but that didn't even like get build up or at least give a reason why Jurassic Express didn't even try to rescue him, except that was done off camera for Tully Blanchard's like fixation for midgets, and why Kenny Omega is even given this much publicity anyway, even though he's less popular than Moxley. Not to the hardcore crowd, not to the literally nobody knows who Kenny Omega is. He'd probably be asking for freaking those little post interview things that they do for New Japan matches too. He's that much of a mark for himself. It's just so crap. There was only 2 decent matches in the show. Way too many tag team matches. Barely that much of a compelling story, even though we're just a few weeks in of already devaluing our tag team match, having a freaking gender reveal on the main show that nobody was caring about anyway. But that's technically it. Just a mediocre show. I don't know how long AEW is actually going to count, because the only reason that AEW last week was okay because of the main event. Now there's nothing even to rewatch about this one. I guess people are just going to rewatch the old episodes of Dynamite because at least we had a live crowd then. That's the only excuse. And technically that's it. Some smarky channels that I watch don't even try to I think it's called Make a Fan. Shout out to that guy. He literally spit out some great facts. Coming back after 5 months of not uploading. But by God, he really tore it into why AEW and WWE are just not getting it. And it's just showing over this decline of interest. Like, AEW should really be focusing on themselves to making crap international tournaments, making crap interpromotional storylines that nobody's actually going to care about, because they're already not established on some of the actual guys that they originally have on the roster to begin with, and just a lackluster of building your actual celebrity that you have, like Shaquille O'Neal. You guys should be selling into that factor. Just a bad episode in general, and I wish I didn't take this long to finish off the review. Should have made this short and sweet, but I just want to get my 2 cents in. That's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching. That's it for me.